green emerald graphic. The screen cut to black before going to the source. The usual white screen containing the source emeralds was now green, and words that were supposed to say, now Sonic would be hypersonic, now said, the mighty will fall. The screen cut to black and then cut back to the shrine. The emeralds all appeared in glow on their corresponding platforms. Below the emeralds was the one Sally's fall emeralds. Tails ran to Sonic's side and stood in front of Sally. Sonic, without any hesitation, spin dashed into Tails and threw him onto the other side of the shrine. Sally backed away a side. Knuckles ran to punch Sonic, but the screen cut to black again. The screen cut back to the very beginning, Act 1 on the wall. What the heck was this? How did we get back to the beginning? I'm stuck with it. Yellow colors were heavy before. I'm stuck in turn, and just wanted to respond to that self just possible. Just go hypersonic and move on to Act 2, and then criggling my head by the end. I told him what button to press, and it took 2 minutes to change the name repeat occurred in the title screen as Sonic turned from blue to black rainbow color. I sighed relief watching the double image hypersonic move the stage in absolute ease, but the weird feeling of relief changed after near second. Kelly's image appeared in front of Sonic when he chose, with the sudden path of his bright Sonic lost all color shine and flew backwards. His ring scattered across the stage like golden fireworks. The ring count on the upper left corner of the screen became 0, and the 8th frame rate once again slowed to fall. The screen turned black again just before Sonic touched the ground. You can't escape. The level reset once again, and we're back to the beginning. The level was now nothing but undulating, sickly green yellow tones. The enemies were still. There was no music, nothing but absolute silence. But honestly, I would rather have that. I would rather have it remain like this for the rest of the game. Sonic stood still, motionless, now looking down the ground below him. Under him was not grass or textures, but Sally. Never-ending rows of sleeping one Sally's lying on the ground and standing in the wall in the caves. Every time Sonic took a step, they stretched and bent their bodies and limbs with incredible agony. Every time Sonic joked, they rolled and pulsed like the glitter of the sky. All their sleeping heads faced the blue. All this brain practiced every move and every action. The black screen made never appear in the top of them. Dear lines,
Anything you want.
What the hell? My friend exclaimed, his hand now limp and shaking. Is this some kind of joke? Who the hell is Sally Anderson? What the hell is going on? I shook my head. He looked at me, asking me the same question, even going as far as to shake me. I threw his arms off me and crawled toward the Genesis. Wait, what are you doing? I looked at him, my heart pounded, my hands shaking in a cold sweat. What the hell do you think I'm doing? I'm turning this shit off before it gets any worse. He put the controller down and took my hands, practically pulling me away.
Here's a tip to get you started.
I know this sounds crazy, but I was sick of negotiating and wanted some type of solution to that. In the end, it didn't matter. My friend picked up the controller again and manipulated the love sign over it. There were like sounds that stayed moving ways that never happened. After a while, it seemed like it was the Sally's wanting song. This love. My skin pricked the head. I fought back the violence right now. This curiosity, this one missing the end would be my help. We came up to what could have been the end of the stage, and fear and curiosity, my friend and I wanted became across Sonic, Tails, and other character sprites that shouldn't have been in the game. The chaotics, Amy Rose, cream and cheese, all stood staring at the ground. When my friend had control again, he pushed Sonic forward. All the characters turned to Sonic. My friend pushed Sonic even further, passing the sprites in a slow, walking fashion. Each and every sprite followed Sonic. After the last sprite was passed, the black screen came up again. She was mine, he said. The screen went away, and Sonic was alone again. The sky stood still. The Sallys were stagnant. Sonic was pushed down along a path. The blue hedgehog began to gain speed and run down the path, continuing very quickly to nowhere. He ran for seconds, then minutes. Then those minutes turned into what felt like hours. And then Sonic was blown back again. As soon as he fell to the ground, the Sallys awoke again and took him by his feet. The ghost Sally sprite stood before Sonic, just standing and staring. The Sallys from the ground pulled Sonic into the ground. Sonic's sprite began to make an unfamiliar drowning animation. The ghost, the only standing Sally, walked up to Sonic. As soon as she touched him, the screen cut to black again, in the walls. The shrine appeared again. Sonic did a spin dash. Sally was in his path trying to escape him. Under the floors. He dashed through Sally and she flew backwards on Tails. In the walls. Sonic attacked Sally again. Under the floors. Back to the floor. In the walls. Sonic dragged her away with another unfamiliar, strange animation. Under the floors. The Sally on the ground finally got Sonic's sprite completely underground. Another unfamiliar animation from Sonic to play over and over again.
Use the spin dash to break through the rocks and continue on.
They have months since the whole ordeal happened. And since turned off the game, I went to took an advil, then run to a game for another part. My friend and I agreed that we would never play this game again until we're sure we have the right copy of the game. We also agreed that we should post up the basic and not so detailed version of our experience in game forms that were recorded in the morning to install the lovers themselves. This one article became serious. Recently, however, I got a reply from one. It was from one of those users that obnoxious username of basic capital or just letters and random numbers that was supposed to form a certain type of word. I read out the forum post and read the reply with a neutral feeling. If this being possible, it was a standing reply, something like, wow, that sounds really weird. The same user later sent me a friend request. It was suspicious at first. I checked the profile to find that he was a Sonic fan too, and actually made moms and certain hedgehogs. I decided that it would be nice to have another Sonic the Hedgehog fan as a friend. My best friend was already overseas and suffering from crappy internet. I asked him to meet my friend, long story of that, the user told me my experience was a little strange if not coincidental because he or she once had Sonic 3 Sonic and Knuckles cartridges that he or she and his or her friend had a long time ago. For the sake of conversation, I prompted the user to tell me more about the story of the cartridges. The knowing username went on to tell me that the project was actually going to be a type of interactive fan fiction that included the Sonic characters. The story was that Sonic would be framed and everyone else would band together with Knuckles in order to keep the Master Emerald out of the hands of robotic Sonic called Sonic characters. For whatever reason, I responded and told the user the full details of the content of the cartridge I'd been buying. I then assured him that this, although oddly similar, was definitely not their cartridges. Weirdly enough, the user just abruptly stopped replying after I told the story. After a few moments of waiting, I figured that they might be wrong. Everything was slowly transforming into really long. It wasn't until another week went by my son replied.
You can do a homing attack whenever a lock-on cursor appears after jumping. Zero in on enemies and take them down. Hold down the boost button for a boost of speed. Once the boost gauge on the lower left is empty, you can no longer use boost. Defeat enemies or collect rings to refill the boost gauge. Slide to move
find my mouse on my desk without the folders. Like that. My friend ended up taking these cartridges after he fell out. We stopped the project. They must have hacked them behind my back before returning them. They weren't meant to be stolen. I stole the wrong copy. I have worked at our club. I'll give you them for free. The replies were rather common. The person typing the message were they write pen. They got progressively more aggressive. They replied, "Hello? Hello? Are you there? Hurry up and give me your address. Give it to me. Give me your fucking address." I opened up a new tab and typed Sally Anderson in the search bar. I felt the color drain from every part of my body when I saw the results. In horror, I clicked on the first result and read the article over and over until each sentence burned into my mind. Sally Anderson was ready to be
You can leap between the left and right rails while grinding.
I struggled to power down my computer only to fall out of my chair and knock down my mug with me. I reached my hand behind one of the legs of my desk and struggled for what felt like years to unplug my machine. I struggled with my feet, turned on all the lights and paced for a long time through the kitchen and living room, repeating the phrase in my mind that had haunted my thoughts since the moment I saw it. The phrase echoed in my mind throughout last night. It echoed in the early morning into the afternoon. In the walls. I couldn't stop. I can't say it. So today, after another week of fucking this stuff and paranoia, I finally decided to watch my computer back and try and contact my manager. I checked my inbox and I emailed just in my override. Except one. The sender is my email title with the words. I started to set up a reply. I read the message slowly and loud. I shouted. I know you graduated from Thompson High School in 2011. I know where you go, where you go, what you do. No matter where you run, no matter where you run, right there, right around the corner. I already felt the body goes numb. My tired yet wounded mind churs and crackles like my computer before me. I feel the pins prickle on my body. I feel the sickness poke at the pit of my stomach once more as I remember the valley lying. This is a theory that talks about Bowser and King Boo from the Mario series. Bowser is a crazy villain. Some of his deaths at the end of Mario games are pretty brutal. An example is in Super Mario Galaxy 1, where he falls to a star and is then stranded on an exploding planet that turns into a black hole. King Boo's role in the Mario series at first glance doesn't seem to be anything significant. Bowser, on the other hand, isn't so lucky. Explosions can be seen and heard without him or any Koopa escaping. While Bowser's deaths before this game were at least understandable on how he survived, maybe he swims in lava and only got injured in smaller falls, there's no explanation how Bowser could survive being stranded on an exploding platform thousands of feet in the sky. No matter how tough or resilient he may have been in the past, Mario fell from the same height at the beginning of the game, and he got killed, though he was fortunately revived by the Star Spirits. In fact, proof about Bowser's death may be in game. At the end of the game, he must walk to Peach's castle with the NPC, go to the second part of town. In front of Merlin's house, there should be a sign. It's called the Toad Town News, after mentioning about how Mario beat Bowser. After saying the obvious about Bowser was bad to beat, it also states how confident they are that Bowser won't return. This connection that can be made with this series of events strongly suggests that Bowser had nothing to do with being no. The way if Bowser dead, then Mario's still alive in the Mario series today. This theory still expands the Mario games released after Super Mario. So the magic is perhaps the most important thing to the game. of painting, struggling to get out. This is the first sign that King Boo has something to serve Mario. But soon after, perhaps the most crucial occurs. Remember the that of the foil. The kind of details you need to break large drop objects. Well, once you give the last object, after she tells the board to show them all in Canada, Mario, she will say this. What is this? Bowser? How can this be? I see that it is more Bowser. Is not Bowser somewhere in this nation? I cannot believe it. Then it seems I thought that Mario could sound as King Boo somehow find Bowser. This is horrible.
You can kick them away by pushing them while moving.
She mentions how King Boo could have revived Bowser. This will be more later on. Another connection can be made when Luigi opens the door to King Boo's room. Before the final battle begins, King Boo talks to Mario's painting, and at this one point says the line. I remember how much trouble you've caused me in the past. This doesn't make sense at first, considering it's the King Boo's first appearance in the Mario series, but remember what I said earlier about how Mario kept going on to ghost houses in Super Mario World? That, another confrontation, good news is what King Boo meant by the trouble. King Boo then turns the Mario painting into the Bowser painting, then goes into the painting, sucks Luigi in. He will then fight the Bowser.
Use the boost button while skydiving to speed up. Use the boost button while skydiving to speed up.
same one who was alive trying to capture Peach. King Boo's been built and provided his own boss, which with the exception of the Mansion Dark Moon, is trying to revenge on Mario over a failure each time. The fact that Jairo killed her gave Troopers possessed by their own spirits in one food, it makes sense that Bowser is the Troopers, which possessed by his own spirits in one food. Bowser also having a Trico-like form of Trigon. This can also explain how Bowser, even after Luigi's Mansion, still showed infatuation towards Peach. Under this theory, King Boo is Bowser. It would make sense that he was still trying to capture Peach. It also makes sense that he tried to take it more seriously, though it's then over extremely domination. Now it's just the story of the Fury Death. Now that undead. So that was a King Boo theory by Mike. I think this one came out for a while, I want to say 2012, 2013, and what did I think of it? Well, I was already kind of familiar with this one, but re-narrating it once again, it really shows past, so to speak. It's just a bunch of bones. You know, no pun intended for all the talk about Rondo and Ghost, but it really does make sense. But so for the success, we have to go back to like 1990 to the Super Nintendo. They just assumed that Nintendo had a theory to begin with, and then there was one planned success and afterwards, which doesn't really make sense. They try to explain like Bowser shifted personality or whatever, but just the possession. Usually when you get possessed, you don't keep your personality, but I guess confines of this theory just come back. But I guess like plan became a little bit weirder. But it's a cool theory, and I think there is a lot of really interesting details, especially that King Boo is so different in Mansion games specifically to every other spin-off he's been in. Bowser's fate in Mansion itself, the first one, is also very, very interesting. That's something I really want to look into. But I don't think this one was a particularly good showing of it. I also had to like re-record it a bunch of times because some of the descriptions were really weirdly typed. It was like similes and things you normally understand like backwards, and they just kept mentioning the title, but it just had shorthand for it. A lot of stuff written in here just feels redundant. And this I have another whole sub theory. There's really the end that we have received on it. That's the original theory. Or kind of just funny, just made that up on the fly. I don't want to talk about it too hard. It doesn't feel negative. I like most of the ideas the sponsor has, but the actual execution is a little lacking. I think it works well, and I think it really could have just been focused on Luigi's Mansion. Like, that one game is enough to talk about. It's such a weird development history, but I mean, it's just a silly theory. I don't know how much the author directly believes it, but I think a lot of differences in how King Boo is portrayed, like in Mario Sunshine versus Luigi's Mansion, is just partially that Nintendo wanted to be a bit edgier with the game. Like Luigi's Mansion was the launch title, but also every game being developed for the GameCube is a nightmare. Like, if you ever played Mario Sunshine, you'll know how unpolished that game is, unpolished. So it is genuinely possible they just had two different ideas of King Boo's for the development team and did not have time or did not care to finish it. Just trying to get them vastly different forms. But I'm curious to what everyone else has to think about. What did you think about the Bowser King Boo theory? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until then, have a lovely rest of the day. This is a theory that talks about Bowser King Boo from the Mario series. Bowser is a crazy villain. Some of the deaths at the end of Mario games are crazy. The example is in Super Mario Galaxy 1, where he falls to a star, stranded on an exploding planet that turns into a black hole. King Boo's role in the Mario series at first glance doesn't seem to be anything significant. The only appears in new Mario games, and, aside from the Luigi's Mansion series, his role in the game, the here-end is minor. You may think that Bowser and Boo have nothing related to each other. However, they both play a major role together in the Mario series, which keeps the series going. Bowser is slightly differently. There are two Mario series that games that the truth of Bowser and King Boo. The first Mario series was never the truth of the scene. King Boo was really around as early as the Super Mario Bros. 3, which Boo's first game. He just never appeared in it. Now, in these allocations, there were these ghost house levels in Super Mario Bros. These houses
You can perform bridge jump panels.
Similar levels of habit will continue in future Mario games. Getting through towards Mario that continues to like that. Making Mario just the second
Also performs freestyle tricks with rainbow rings.
But King Boo deserves to be mentioned. This is because Mario had actually happened for the Boo's World 3 of that game. And so you may think this will change King Boo. However, if you think more into it, there's two lines that you can take a corner now. First, you will highlight one goes down to compared to 7 from the past games. Secondly, the alliance was forced because they wouldn't give the stars for it and no it's on their own. All in all, when Mario did Paper Mario went enough to stop King Boo's behavior towards him. Bowser played a much bigger role than the Mario Mario. And the games were particularly where Mario and Bowser and King Boo are on a platform going to the clouds as a vector. Bowser and so on. And heard about any word King Boo was speaking. Well, Bowser's deaths before this game were at least understandable now to survive. There's no way about the real life stranded on exploiting platform without just being inside. No matter how tough so easy to in the past, Mario Bros. Getting the game and survive with some tricks. In fact, at the end of the game, you must watch the castle of the NPC. Go to the center of the town. In front of Bowser's house, there's a sign. It's called the Toad Town. After mentioning about how Mario defeated Bowser, how he and Castle are saved something. Bowser was happy. People like me never return. For sure. After saying Bowser how Bowser was bad, it also states how confident they are that Bowser won't return. This connection between the name of this series of events really suggests that Bowser had suffered such a brutal beating before they but wait, if Bowser's dead, then why is he still alive to make villain in Mario series today? This is the Jigsaw statement Mario game released after Mario Luigi's Mansion is perhaps the most important and significant game for this theory. All really happens at the start of the game. He goes to a mansion and won in a contest. Only one Dark advertised games objects so she can see what happened to Mario. Well, once you give the last object, after she tells the orb to show them all it can about Mario, she looks like this. What is this? Bowser? How can this be? I see that he's spawned Bowser. Is Bowser somewhere in this mansion? I cannot believe this. She looks like this. What is this? Bowser? How can this be? I saw the spawn Bowser. Is Bowser somewhere in this mansion? I cannot believe this. And yes, I thought that Mario had Bowser, as Sigo somehow revived Bowser. This is horrible. Well, for you. Well, she confirms that Bowser still exists. You can understand why consider Mario sadly defeated Bowser. Remember though that Paper Mario was the Mario game before Luigi's Mansion, had the Toad Town news sign. Paper Mario also thought that Bowser wouldn't return. Also recall Bowser's brutal defeat at the end of Paper Mario. See a connection there. Also note on the part when she mentions how King Boo could have revived Bowser. This will be important later on. Another connection to be made when Luigi opens the door to King Boo's room. Before the final battle begins, King Boo talks to Mario's painting, and at least one point says this interesting line. I remember how much trouble you've caused me in the past. This doesn't make sense at first, considering this is the King Boo's first appearance in the Mario series, but remember what I said earlier about how Mario kept going on to the ghost houses in Super Mario World? That and other confrontation with Boo is what King Boo meant by the trouble. King Boo then turns the Mario painting into the Bowser painting, then goes into the painting, sucks Luigi in. He will then fight the final boss on the roof of the mansion, Bowser with King Boo controlling him. Now, remember that the fortune-telling ghost mentioned on how King Boo could have somehow revived Bowser? The connections here imply that King Boo wanted to get revenge on Mario for the trouble he caused with other Boos by first luring him into a mansion filled with ghosts. Then reviving his now dead arch enemy, Bowser. The evidence doesn't stop after Luigi's Mansion. If you pay attention, you will see that Bowser's deaths after Luigi's Mansion are more violent and extreme than before. The previously mentioned Super Mario Galaxy 1 is a good example of this. Bowser falls into a storm. This should surely burn him to death, as even he came through the lava, the gravity is flat. Yet he appears later on a planet that is storm. The planet that explodes and turns into a black hole, all without a dragon on it. It makes me like there is no way Bowser can return from that other than to reach Mario. But there may actually be one explanation. This briefly explains how King Boo revived Bowser. Well, then after the return, but the end of the game, King Boo became a destroyer. Why? Years ago, and as you know, the ghost of death is instead of possess him and keep him alive, leaving Bowser to be the best vessel to find a way to get revenge on Mario and make his life miserable. You know the tale of how ghosts come for revenge and haunt you forever? This is exactly what's happening to Mario. But the original explains other oddities with Bowser in more recent games, such as his sudden shift to a very sinister personality. In most games before Luigi's Mansion, Bowser's plan is mostly just to capture Peach and keep Mario from saving her. In games after Luigi's Mansion, Bowser focuses on trying to really marry Peach, actually killing Mario, and to conquer the Mushroom Kingdom. Sometimes he even takes it to another level to conquer the universe, like what we see in Super Mario Galaxy. This sudden darker shift proves only further that Bowser is controlled by King Boo. With Bowser now sharing the same sinister personality King Boo did in his in-game appearances, it would make sense that Bowser's plans would get more extreme as well. And why would this King Boo control Bowser so try to marry Peach? Not necessarily because King Boo is in love with Peach, but because he wants to break Mario's heart. This is also why Bowser keeps coming back. No matter how brutal his defeat is, since he's controlled by King Boo, he won't die as now he is part Ghost. And of course, the fact that his part Ghost Bowser would never truly die only emboldens him to have more extreme plans. Now, one may think some source of magic can be defined as Bowser's plans, but it's hard to imagine that this is the case in some of Bowser's recent plans. In both Sigo and Galaxy games, Bowser's mind will be inside of the black hole. It's hard to imagine going into it to fight them, unless they be able to over King Boo. Right, you know, Bowser somehow find a way to find him again. Perhaps maybe another full physical copy of Bowser's body. Character proves to be the part here. Other than King Boo at the end of the game. Such as Super Mario Bros. Yes, and becoming Bowser for those dry answer here. This one appears on the back, just falling from off the it makes no sense for Bowser to escape from like lava so much longer. But this image provides sense to the situation. While the lava changes Bowser's body itself, it would impact King Boo's possession of the body. This will allow Bowser to function fine with his bones. In fact, Bowser's carcass is actually not the only body which possesses Bowser. Dry bones, that is, which are the remains of regular Koopas, are slaves to and the rest of Mario despite being dead, because regular bones are possessed them. Since King Boo is more powerful than any other Koopas, it makes sense for him to be able to possess the same Koopas as Bowser. As the more powerful Koopa, King Boo might also have the unique ability to return Bowser's game there on well. After Luigi's Mansion, King Boo himself is the such as Mario Kart, as well as select other Mario games such as Sunshine and Super Princess Peach. King Boo appears as the but they ended how King Boo looks in Luigi's Mansion games and how he looks in all other games. It makes sense that he should all other games, such as the One Eyes, Purple Tongue, and the Crystal Crown. King Boo's all other Mario games does not have any of these features. Or resembles big games instead. Yes, the Mario Kart or regular games set the crown up. What this looks like in the games is that the King Boo is Mario Kart, Mario Kart, well, the true King Boo is busy controlling Bowser. As you mentioned, when you run into these games, you are possessing Bowser, you seem to really want to try to get the plan off, so perhaps you take different strategies in order to success. Bowser just making anything at all, which can be seen as evidence of fear. It should also be indicated here that he managed to escape into the
The floor here looks like it could give way.
Mario was connected to Bowser. However, it's not Professor Ega's decision to sell all the paintings in this game as a good opportunity to make it appear as though King Boo knew after the travel. Like King Boo's never seen adventure of Mario, he don't know what shadow does. Again, and King Boo is Bowser's body to then the bodies of the Mario 3D will be like in this game,
the floor here looks like it could give way at any moment. Stay on the section that looks stable. The theory would mostly have the same concept, except this time, there was no died in Mario is person right now where it's none other than the one. Therefore, the trouble that Alright! Luigi's Mansion would not specifically trouble causing those but the trouble causing walking the live right after Peach. King Boo had built and revived his own body, which was the exception. He tried to prevent the Mario over
more seriously, George got forward, extremely dangerous by domination, now that he doesn't need to worry about your gap. Now, back, undead. So that would be Bowser in King Blue theory by my world. I think this one's been around for a while. I watched it 2012 to 2013, and what did I think of it? Well, I was already kind of familiar with this one, but re-narrating it once again, it really shows past those things, which it's just much fun. No one has to talk about Drivo, but it really just makes sense. Like, so the fact that you have to go back to like 1990 for the Super Nintendo, and then the thing that Nintendo had to do is video, and it was that's not really makes sense. They try to explain like Bowser should be personality or whatever. There's really this is the usually when you get that's your personality, but I guess John finds the theory to just come back, but I guess it's still influenced by his plan. It's a little bit weirder. I think it's a cool theory, and I think there may be lots of really interesting details, especially that I think it was so different in the dedicated to the Mansion game specifically. To every other spin-off, and Bowser's fate in the Mansion itself, the first one, was also very, very interesting. And something I really wanted to look into. But I don't think this one was completely shown of it. I also had to like record a bunch of times because some of the descriptions were really weirdly like it was like abilities and things and kind of backwards game titles and it could have a shorthand even though it's already mentioned a lot of stuff and you also have another whole stuff that is obviously one that also connects to the original theory where kind of just feel like Buddy just made that up on the fly. I don't know myself trying to write it because it's a little bit negative. I like most of the ideas the sponsor has, but the actual execution is a little lacking. I think it works well, and I think it really just been focused on Luigi's Mansion. Like, that one thing we don't talk about is the weird development history, but I have a specific theory. I don't know how much the author directly believes it, but I think a lot of the differences how King Boo was portrayed, like in Mario Sunshine versus Luigi's Mansion, is just partially that Nintendo wanted to be edgier, but the game style Luigi's Mansion was fun, but also every game being developed in King Boo, like if you ever played Mario Sunshine, you'll know how fun things that game is, fun polish. So it's genuinely possible they just had two different ideas of King Boo to develop teams and did not have time or did not care to finish it, which is why you get the vastly different forms. But I'm curious to what everyone else has to say about what you think about that. Let me know down in the comment section below. And until then, have a lovely rest of your day. This is the theory that talks about Bowser, the king of the largest. Bowser is the crazy villain who steps in the Mario games starts crazy. Example in Super Mario Galaxy 1, where he calls the star, crazy, and then returns to the black hole. The Mario series, the first land, with the Sigo things. Mario games and aside from the Mansion series, disappearing is like Link and Bowser and King Boo have nothing related to each other. However, they both play a major role together in the Mario series, which keeps the series alive. While this is never explained directly, there are a few games in the Mario series which begin starting to relate to Bowser, King Boo. Super Mario World is the first game in the Mario series, with evidence of the theory can be seen. King Boo is around as early as Mario 3 days, which was the first appearance. The game has two intelligence, there was no house level, and the house ability was usually in the afterlife. Then the game starts, going to these houses and wreak havoc for a time after the next game. The Boos knew they had to stop this, so they reported Mario's actions to King Boo. King Boo was furious about this, so he decided to start tracking down Mario. Similar levels of havoc would continue in future Mario games, thus beginning the Boo. The intention of this game for the theory goes to Bowser, but King Boo is mentioned well. So obviously that's how the Boo will play it. And so we think that change King Boo's moves up. However, if you get more into it, you'll see that this green light is nearly enough to take over Mario's master grasp. First, now like one thing what Mario did to Mario was enough to stop King Boo's hatred towards him. Bowser plays much bigger roles in the series game Mario. Many of the games where it's particularly useful. Besides the scene where Mario and Bowser are up on a platform way up in the clouds that is about to explode. Mario's game escaping from Star Spirits, Bowser, and hurt or any who escaping. Well, Bowser's death before this game were understandable how he survived. He used some lava and got injured in small balls. Bowser's demise ran on explode platforms thousands of feet in the sky. No matter how tough or resilient he may have been in the past, Mario fell from the same height at the very beginning of the game, and he got killed, though he was fortunately revived by the Star Spirits.
The platforms are falling apart! You'll have to hurry!
In front of Merlin's house, there should be a sign. It's called the Actually, about how Mario defeated Bowser, how he should cast those things. Bowser was badly beaten and will likely never return. We're sure of it. Almost positive. After saying the obvious of how Bowser was badly beaten, it also states how confident they are that Bowser won't return. This connection that can be made with this series of events strongly suggests that Bowser had suffered such a brutal beating before they finally been killed. But wait, if Bowser is dead, then why is he still alive as the main villain in the Mario series today? This is because the theory still expands the Mario game released after Super Mario, Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion is perhaps the most important and significant game for the series. We all know what happens at the start of the game. Luigi goes to a mansion that he won in a contest, only to find that it's much darker than advertised, and needs to find out where Mario is, who went to the mansion before him. This game features King Boo's first in-game appearance. He appears after Luigi goes to the trapdoor and a bunch of Boos and King Boo fly out of it.